Here from Boxing Bants, I'm back in SPG Tallaght. This time I'm with super featherweight Siobhan OLeary. Siobhan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's not too far away, Tallaght, from me now, so it's not too bad. But I can imagine.
Bad for you, all right? No, I'm coming up from Limerick twice a week.
Yeah.
So it's a 4-hour round trip twice a week. So,
Yeah.
but look, I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to do it. Like, you know, and I suppose much like all the other camps, and much like it always has been, it's not a chore to get into the car and drive up and be in, you know, come up to Eddie and train with Eddie and train with the team, you know. So it's not a tough thing to do.
Yeah. And you and Graham, are you coming up together? Are you all the time?
Well, last camp no, but this camp we will be, because he was doing a course or something. I don't know what he was at anyway. But this camp, he'll come up with me on a Monday, and he'll come back down with me on a Wednesday. Then see, I work full time as well, like, so I can't really stay up, like, you know. So I work Monday to Friday, like, as well. So I have to go down.
All right. Well, I know you got into professional boxing a little bit late.
Got into boxing late.
Yeah. Compared to other people that you know, kids around here, 10 years old, come through all the amateur ranks, but you originally came through white collar. Do you want to maybe tell people how originally you got into the game itself?
Yeah, look, I was on a work placement from college, and my supervisor on the work placement was a boxing coach, my last boxing coach in my amateur club. And he asked me to do white collar, and there was no way I was going to do it, but he seemed to convince me anyway. And to be honest, I just fell in love. I fell in love with it. It was more so the training I fell in love with first. You know, I was never one to like sparring. I didn't like getting in the ring. I was scared, I suppose. You know, but I mean,
including me, not many of us.
Look, I suppose, like, after the white collar fight and everything, like, you know, I joined the amateur club, and spent a good bit of, like, spent up until I turned pro there, really, like, you know. So that was 6 years. I took 2 years off in the middle because I was in England, but I mean, boxing has given me a lot more than I've given it, to be honest. You know, it's really taught me a lot, you know, in terms of discipline and hard work and dedication, you know. And I don't mean to be cheesy when I say that, like, you know, but it really, really has, like, it's something, you know, that gives you a lot more, you know what I mean, and you know, I just love it. I love it, and I suppose it's only now I'm coming around to the sparring and the fighting, like, do you know what I mean? Because I'm actually a little bit better at it now, like, you know. so yeah, I mean, I still, like, I couldn't, like, even after a fight now, like, I couldn't go more than 3 or 4 days without training. I just couldn't. I suppose I'm a little bit addicted to that, like, you know, the training aspect of it, like, you know. But yeah, look, it's I love it. I just do. I really do. Like, I have a passion for it, like, you know. So. And I'm delighted and turning pro at the time I did. You know, it was a very hard decision, to be honest. It really was. You know, leaving the amateur club and things like that. Like, you know. So, but I mean, for me, it was the right decision at the time. You know, and I'm going to give it my all for as long as I can. Do you know what I mean? So, and I'm living the dream. Honest to God, I'm living the dream. Like, you know what I mean? I get to do this. I get to be trained by one of the best trainers there is, you know, in Eddie and Padjo's around here, and also Paul, like, you know what I mean. So I mean, I'm surrounded by people that are just, you know, that are helping, you know, they're helping me grow and helping me develop as a boxer as well, like, you know. So it's something that I never thought, like, I'm pro less than a year now, like, and I honest to God, a year ago I was like, me pro, go away, like, it was only him that said it to me, like, it was Graham that said it to me. I was like, I was having, because I had a real crisis, like, about my boxing, like, you know, I really did, like, you know, and it was just over a year ago. Graham said to me, well, do you want to turn pro? And I'm like, go way out of it, not a like, but look, here I am. Here I fucking am, do you know what I mean? So yeah, look, it's a funny old journey, but I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So, like, boxing in itself, a lot of people leave, especially in Ireland. People, they leave. You're not going to leave it, obviously, with a lot of money. And even when you leave, like, a lot of times you don't even leave with your health. You know, when I say your mental health, things like that. Yeah. So I would say 90% of the people in Ireland who are boxing, it has to be something else that they're doing it for. You know what I mean? Whether for an Irish title to walk at the sport and say, I've won that, or something to just give them a goal or a drive. When you turned over, was there any particular goal that you had in your head that you wanted to do? Because obviously, in your division, there's only 5 women now in Ireland who are pro. There's Katie, there's Kathy McAleer, who's fighting for the bantamweight common title. There's Caitlin, and there's yourself, and there's Lynn.
Yeah.
So what was your mindset or goal when you turned over?
It's a good question. I don't tend to
Was it
think
to set goals in place?
To be honest, I set short-term goals. So my goal when I turned pro was to win my debut, and I did that. My goal after that was to win my second fight, and I did that. My, I suppose, overarching long-term goal is to get better, to keep improving. And I suppose, look, I'm very aware of the privileged position I'm in. You know, to be given an opportunity to train with Eddie, to be on, you know, the team with Graham and Jake and Carl, and you know, and be in this club, and to be able to do what I love. I understand, and I'm grateful for this position, like, you know what I mean. So I think a lot of it was, like, a lot of the goal was to just enjoy it. It really was to enjoy it, like, because I know it's like it's something that came out of nowhere for me, like, you know, because let's not kid ourselves. I don't have the pedigree, you know what I mean. I don't have all this amateur stuff, and I don't have all that, and I don't, you know. Katie
seems to be the only one that has that at the moment, really. Like, when you look at the 5 fighters on paper,
and I mean, and look at Katie, like, you know, she is an icon of women's an icon of boxing, not just women's boxing. Just, she's changed the face, like, she really has, you know. But I suppose for myself, because I don't have that pedigree, and I started really late. I was 28 when I started boxing. Do you know what I mean? So it's for me, it's just enjoy it, have fun, but win. I am voraciously ambitious in terms of getting in there. Like, I will not hold back. You know what I mean? So I want to win. You know, and wherever, like, my goal now is to win my third fight, and that is my goal. Like I've said in other interviews, like, my job is to box. And that's what my job is, you know. I don't focus on opponents. I don't focus on the external. I don't focus on anything other than me, because me is the only thing I have control over, really. Like, what I say, what I do, how I react, what I train, how I train, when I train. That's the only thing I have control over. You know, it's up to Eddie and Stephen and Leonard to look at opponents and create, you know, game plans and stuff like that. For me, is to box, and that's my job, and that's the goal, is to box and win.
It's interesting because I was saying to myself, you're saying that it's like your job now. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you work full time.
Second job.
Yeah, you work full time as a social worker. If I'm right in saying that.
Social care worker.
Social care worker. So you doing that during the day, and then coming up here after, like, whatever 24-hour shift at times, maybe 12-hour. I'd say along the lines of that. Coming from Limerick to do this, there must be something else that's driving you to come up. Has it been difficult, you know, coming up and down to train and not being too sure when the next fight's coming, you know what I mean, getting opponents from other countries and things like that? Yeah,
look, I suppose I've been quite lucky, to be honest. Like, I haven't had long periods off. Like, I've only been boxing since last November, and I'm going into my third fight, and it's July of the next, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not that, like, that's less than 8 months, like, and I'm going into my third fight. So I suppose yeah, I didn't really have much of a break after my debut. You know, I had, you know, maybe took a couple of weeks off because I knew March was happening, like, and I knew I was going to be on that card. You know, I like the break after Clash of the Titans was long, I suppose, and I didn't come up to Dublin for maybe 5 or 6 weeks, so that was different, you know what I mean, because between 1 and 2 there was none. I was up in Dublin anyway after, like, I maybe took a week or 2 off, and I was coming up again, like, you know. But I mean, look, I trust my management team, my promotional team. You know, it's that's I have no control over when my next fight is. You know, I have to hand that over, and I have to trust in the journey. Do you know what I mean? And I am. Do you know? I suppose so. I don't focus on that stuff. Like I said, I focus on my boxing. I focus on what I have control over, and that's me. I don't have control over who my opponent is, or when I'm going to box, or anything like that. I train, I stay fit. You know, I'm always fit, like, do you know what I mean? I am, like, I'm not a person to go in gain 20 kilos or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? I'm just not, like, I may put on about 7 or 8 max. It's really only about 5. But, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be a person to completely lose the run of myself, like, you know. So, but in, like, I
think that's important as well, because I think when the divisions are full and stacked full of volume of fighters, you visually picture in your head the stepping stones that you're going to take is like, right, that person there, they've got the Celtic title, I need to fight them, and then they need to get Irish title, and then they're training for it, and then if that person gets thrown out and they have to fight a journeyman, then they're just like, here, look, you know what I mean? And
you have to be ready. You have to stay ready. You know, and I suppose that's cheesy again. Like, you know, I do very much stay ready for a fight. You know, but I don't know, it's not from my amateur days. Like, you know, I was always fit in my amateur days as well. Like, and even though I didn't, like, I've only had 15 amateur fights. Like, and I didn't fight much. Like, 2016 was probably my best year boxing. Like, you know what I mean? So, and 2017. So, I mean, ever since then, I've been very fit and stayed at a stage where, you know, if I get a phone call from Stephen or Leonard and, you know, you're going to be boxing in 4 weeks, you're going to be boxing, I'm ready. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't focus on, you know, the amount of time or anything like that. Like, you know, I keep it in the now, and I keep it in the day, and I keep it in right. My next focus is my next session. Like, you know what I mean? So. There he is now.
So your next fight is 20th July on the Cork card with Graham and Jake and everyone.
Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge of your opponent at the moment or anything at all? Or no? Well, at least you have your camp set out and you know what you're doing. So how is camp going? Sparring, everything like that. Obviously, I saw Graham and Jake sparring. How is everything going for yourself?
Great. You know, I love being in camp. My partner doesn't love me being in camp. Hi, Maeve. You know, but it's. I love being in camp. I love the focus of it. I love the end goal. I love the whole, you know, the laser focus. You know what I mean? Like, so I enjoy it. You know what I mean? I don't think everyone around me enjoys it, like, but I really enjoy it. But camp is going very well. You know, I'm you know, and I'm under no illusions, like you're on. Like, I'm learning every single time I come up here to train with Eddie, to do pads with Eddie, whatever it may be. Like, you know, I'm learning every time. Like, I really am. You know, I'm sparring a little bit as well. Like, so I've some sparring now Monday night coming. So, you know, we'll take it as it comes. Like, but it's going really well. Like, as it always does. Like, do you know what I mean? If it isn't going well, you just leave it there. May not go well one day. That's fine. On to the next. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're having a bad day training, that's just one day. You know, there's no point focusing on that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Nothing bad lasts forever.
Absolutely. There's a bit of cheese for you there now, lads.
Yeah. What's I going to say? Sorry, the last thing I was going to say to you was, aside from, you know, your fighting career now, so obviously Katie was fighting for the undisputed title, titles.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch the fight yourself?
I did.
And
are you going to ask me?
What did you have it on your scorecards and everything? Like, a lot of people making a lot of different.
When I watched it live, I thought Katie lost.
Yeah.
I watched it again. I had it a draw.
Did you turn off the sound?
Yes. Yes. Because when you watch it with those stupid commentators that are so one-sided, it's, you know, I went to the gym the next morning and I rewatched it on my phone and I turned it on. I just didn't put my headphones on. I just left it on silent or whatever, like, and I had it drawn. Then I watched it again, and look, she landed the cleaner, more effective punches.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like, you know, when you look at somebody being pushed around, or you look at somebody being, you know, the more aggressive boxer, I mean, it's all subjective, really. Like, you know, it's subjective. It really is. Like, you know, everybody has a different opinion on it. It's like any fight, you know. You might call it for someone, I might call it for the other one. And at the end of the day, she landed the cleaner punches, and more of them.
Yeah, but that's like, and
the thing's face after. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think I had it a draw, maybe. Like, see, when they're so even, I suppose you could almost sway either sort of way, but like you've gone off now, punches landed. You didn't have to look at a statistic or anything like that. You've seen it with your eyes. And one thing I don't understand is people that go off things like CompuBox. Like, CompuBox to me is like fantasy football. It's like, but do you know what I mean? It's just as subjective as fight, because it's a guy sitting beside the ring and he's pressing a button and seeing what's landing and what's landing. So it's not really accurate, like, you know what I mean? So it's,
I mean, the third time I watched it, I focused, like, I suppose, like, the first, like, when you watch it live, you're focusing on both boxers,
and you're listening,
and then the second time I watched it, I'm more focused on Pursoon, and then the third time I watched it, I'm more focused on Katie. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think you have to watch it 3 times. Do you know what I mean? So you have that rounded opinion, like, you know. But I mean, when you watch it without the sound and you look at who's landing and how they're landing and how they're moving. You know, I think, I mean, Katie deserved it. Like, she deserved it. I understand why Pursoon is pissed off. Like, you know what I mean? Because fuck me, she gave her all and more. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think the rematch is probably a much bigger fight than any other fight that Katie has coming up now. But I know I read somewhere she has the fight with Serrano coming up, but I think she's going to actually railroad her.
Yeah.
She
I don't think she's really a lightweight. I think she's very, very small for the weight. You know what I mean?
Katie?
No, Amanda. I think
Amanda Serrano. Yeah.
I don't think.
I think Katie stops her. Like, she stops her. She does. Like, she's off mouth anyway. Like.
That's the only way you're going to see, I think, Katie really get challenged and have to show different wrinkles as she moves up through weight class. Not that she has to, but the bigger the people, then you're going to have to show different wrinkles to how you fight and things like that, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's ridiculous. I don't know. I think people think that fighters, especially like female fighters, are like action figures that they can just get them and just fight each other, and just like people talk about like fighting Carissa Shields and stuff like that. It's just like,
stop! Don't be ridiculous.
It's just like,
there's a possibility of Brackhouse, like,
but side,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Listen. But sure, look, this is it. Like, you know, I think women's boxing is still people still have a funny view of it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but I think people like Katie and people like Clarissa Shields and like Celia Brackhouse, you know, I think they're making people, you know, see that, you know, it's a legitimate thing, you know. To me, it's a legitimate sport and it deserves the respect that men's boxing gets. Like, do you know what I mean? So, but you know, these are the women that are demanding that, you know, because they're beating everyone they put in front of them. Yeah. Do you know, and you can't argue with that, really. Like, you know, so.
And it's not Katie's fault. Like, if there's not that much depth in her division, it's not her fault, and she shouldn't be expected to jump up 20 pounds and things like that, because then you're just basically asking the person to fail, and then you're going, well, you know, that person wasn't that good anyway. You know what I mean?
It's just like a Mayweather shitty fucking circus fight, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like Mayweather going in with that Japanese fella, like, you know, it's like Street Fighter or something, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it kind of it takes away the legitimacy of women's boxing. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, you can't expect somebody to box somebody 20 pounds heavier. Yeah. You know, it's you know,
unless they're taking some magic chemicals or
well, there's plenty of that going on, I imagine. You know, so but look, I mean, I think like Katie and you know, all, like, the women that are unifying divisions, you know, they're like, I honestly don't take Amanda Serrano any seriously, but to be honest, like, she won vacant titles. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, Katie beat the champion in each of those belts. She beat the champion, I believe.
And Presume was champion for 9 years.
9 years, and she was tough as nuts, man. Like, tough, like. You could have hit her with a sledgehammer. Honestly, she would have just kept coming. Like, you know what I mean? Her conditioning was just amazing.
Siobhan, I'll be seeing you anyway for your fight. I really appreciate your time. You're actually the first female boxer I've interviewed.
Ask you that. Have you interviewed a female before?
Female, no. Not a female boxer, no. So Lynn's now fighting pretty much in Spain now.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And then Caitlin's only just turned over. She's probably one of the first Irish boxers I've seen turn over at that age, like 98. And then Kathy, I had an opportunity to get Kathy, but Kathy just jetted off before I weigh in.
Okay.
So you're the first one. Yeah. Nice. So anyway, I really appreciate your time, and I'll definitely be seeing you for your next fight.
Cool. Right. Thanks, man. Thank you.